Investment Challenge Day 18. We'll be talking about some alternative investments, for example Pepins. And when it comes to stock, we look at Africa Oil and Avega Group, and also a quick update of my watch list. So what is Pepins? We had something called Alternativa listan, more or less alternative list in Sweden. It was a really old-fashioned kind of feeling investment forum where you can trade, but it was very limited in the possibilities of number of trades you could do. So this was basically upgraded to a crowd investing platform, and it's called Pepins. And this is, according to me, the best way to get in kind of early on these stocks before they are IPO'd. And this is always a good thing. If we look at the investments I personally made, I invested in Avega, Paradox, Escapat, XTC and Barista. And to make this very clear, if you look at Paradox, the IPO is one of the most hyped up IPOs of 2016. It would have been impossible for me to buy a big share of this company if it was only IPO'd the normal way. But through Pepins I was able to get a hold of way more stock than this. And also some of these other companies, one day they will be IPO'd, most likely. And then you will have a really good price for your stock. And this is going to be a little more long term, because you don't really know when the plan is to IPO, or if it's going to be an extended period of time. So you have to be way more long term when you do these investments, and your possibility to sell the stocks are limited as well. But on the upside, I think there's way more profit to be made if you do some stock picking here. And when the company goes IPO, it's going to be so much more expensive. It's going to be so much more expensive for you to buy it. Because of the valuation, it's valued higher because it's on the stock market, more or less. You could say something like that. And this doesn't mean that it's a cheap valuation on Pepins. You still have to look into the company. Because some of the companies I've seen in Pepins are really expensive, and I would never buy them. So still, you have to do stock picking. There's no such thing as easy money. You have to pick the right companies, even if it's pre-IPO. So stocks, and if you watched the market today, you probably saw Africa Oil move. They're in oil and gas, and as you could guess from the name of the company, they are in oil and they're in Africa. So Kenya, Somalia and Ethiopia. And it's kind of a big company, 6.8 billion Swedish kronor valuation. And this is a comparison to Brent oil. And as you can see, it's kind of correlating pretty much exactly to what's going on in oil price. And this is, to me, this is a good thing, because I think the oil price will go up. I think it's going to be stable, so it's not going to be lower than this. So there's very limited downside to this stock, I feel. And also, if you look at some other oil companies, they have been performing very, very well and not correlating as much to Brent oil as for example, Africa Oil. If you look at Lundin Petroleum, for example, it's more or less a straight curve up. So I think there's more potential upside in this stock. So my case here, this is a very solid company, very well funded, and Dagens Industri put a recommendation out, and they say there's potential 50% upside. And that was from 15 kronor. It was trading at yesterday. And it's also, if you read the prospects, it looks like Kenya has a bigger upside than one thought to begin with. I actually bought this stock, should mention is in the challenge portfolio. I only got a hold of a little piece in the call this morning, but I managed to buy it at 16 kronor, and now it's trading soon 17. So I have about 6% upside already just today from this stock. If it moves too much, I maybe sell it, but otherwise I'll let it be in this portfolio. I've been looking at oil companies to put in here, and Africa Oil, after today's recommendation from Dagens Industri, seems to be a good choice for me. The risk I see here is Africa is always scary to do business with Africa. You never know when they say, okay, you cannot do this anymore. But I think that's priced in, and been doing this for quite some time, so limited risk. And as I said, even if there's a drop in oil price, as you can see here, is not going to be traded much lower than 11, 12 anyways. Of course that's a big drop, but the potential upside I think is way outweighing this. And this Avega Group, kind of small, consulting, targeting IT business, 254 million Swedish, and they do business in Sweden and Norway. So my case here, if we look at it, looks kind of tired stock if we look at the graph here. But I think that this is a solid company. If you look at the history, it's making money, it's growing, they're doing the right thing. I don't think there's any unpleasant surprises around the corner to this company. I don't think it's going to drop that much. And I do think there's potential upside, at least at around 25 kroners this year. And they are, since they're trading or doing business with Sweden and Norway, these are not winners of the very expensive dollar we have at the moment. And I do think the dollar price should go down, so they will not lose from the dollar going down. So I want to limit the risk even here. And the risk I see in this one is pretty much nothing. I don't see what could happen. I guess if they in the next report say, okay, we're not growing as we should, but I don't see why that should happen because they're so solid. So I think there's very little risk in this company. It looks so stable. This is my watch list. I still like Starbreeze. It's still in a kind of a free fall, and I don't really know why. And as long as I don't know why, I'm staying out. But I'm hoping it will stabilize and turn to start moving upwards. Let's see what happens in that one, but hopefully I'll be able to put this in my investment portfolio. Tobii, pretty much the same thing. I want some news, I want something to happen in the company before I buy it. But I like the company, and I think they'll do well, and I'm looking for some kind of trigger. And as I mentioned in a couple of episodes ago, the Ray base, I like that company as well. Looking for something, it's not really happening too much in the stock. It's traded a couple of 100,000 stocks every day, so I need something more there. And pretty much exactly the same with Lucara Diamond, a company I really like. I want something to stabilize in this company before I buy it, but all this for our potential. If I find the right spot to buy them, I'll definitely put them in my portfolio. So now you have a pretty much 100% update on what's going on so far. So thank you for today.